Okay, next part. This is an ABC standard form. I want you writing that down, please. A is the implied 1. Okay, to find the vertex, okay, you take opposite of B, divide by 2 times A, so it'd be -6, and then 2 times 1 is 2, and -3. That's how you get that. -2, -4. I want you to put those into the calculator. Okay, you got 5. Click up. Now you're going to put -3 in. 4. Click up, put -4 in. Back to 5. So again. Now this is an AHK form. Your A would be a 1, H, and K. Now there's a quick way you can graph these. You're like, well, why didn't you tell us that before? Well, you take the inside x plus 3. You set that equal to 0. Okay? Some of you wouldn't do that on the test, and then you wondered why you screwed it up. Okay? You set the inside, whatever the quantity squared is, equal to 0. -3, then now plug those in. Okay, so you got 1, -2 plus 3 to the second, plus 4, you get 5. Click up. Whoops, I cleared it like an idiot. Now put -3 in. -3 plus 3 is 0. That's why you put -3 in. You back your 4. Okay, click up. And you're back to 5. What do you notice about these? They're the exact same. That's because these equations are equal. They're written in different forms. That's ABC standard. That's AHK vertex. Okay. Now, this is what we're going to be doing. Converting from standard form to vertex form is an important advanced algebra skill. Larson uses it in trig all the time. We don't use it a lot in Algebra 2, but I don't want to set you up to fail by not doing it. So turn the page over. And your job is to put these into vertex form. You are taking this and getting to here. Here to here. Convert the equations from standard form to vertex form by completing the square. Okay, here's when you see that term complete the square, you're going to split that in half and you're going to write b divided by 2 to the second. That's how you complete the square. But you need to write some things over here first. You need to write y equals out 3 times. 3. Okay, there's 3 steps I'm going to be doing for this. First, I will be making a parentheses and kicking out the -25. Okay, kick him out. Then in here you always put x squared. Now make sure that matches this. It does. Sometimes it doesn't. It will in this packet, but in the next one it's not going to. There might be like a 4 in front of it. But match, match. So that gives me the green light to put -8x. Plus, and I got to find my own c using this formula. Kick the b out. You don't want that as your c. You need to find a new c. Okay? Now, b is going to be the 8, and a is the implied 1. Okay? So just put 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4 to the second is 16. Okay? Now, here's the problem, though. You can't forget this next part. What's the difference between this and this? 1x squared, 1x squared, 8x, 8x, minus 25. There's a 16 thrown in. If you add 16 to this side, you got to come over here and add 16 on this side. But I want you to put that, okay? But now I want you to quickly subtract 16 so the y goes back to being by itself. Now, where do you minus 16? Under the 25. You protect what's in the parentheses. You don't want that to change. Okay? Now, For the next step, you need to factor this trinomial in the parentheses. 1 times 16 is 16 positive, so the signs have to match, and they have to add to negative 8. What's the square root of 16? It'd be 4. And if you make them both negative, they'll add to negative 8. Okay? Now, your a is a 1, you don't need that. So you can just make this one parentheses we make into 2. X minus 4, and then x minus 4. Now, you also need to take negative 25 minus 16, which is negative 41, so minus 41. And then the last step's easy. You just rewrite that as a quantity squared with minus 41 behind it. Now, if you want to check your answer, randomly pick a number 1 to 5. Let's put 2 in for x here into that equation. Minus 8, 2. Okay, I got negative 37. Let's see if this is negative 37. Sure is, okay? So I know that that's right. That's the answer. That's pretty much what we're doing. So, b over 2 squared and the t-chart later, but then we have to do our setup over here. Parentheses, kick the constant out. You don't want that one, okay? So, and you want x squared. That matches, so you can go ahead and drop your plus 18x, okay? So they match already, so that's A, that's B, and I got to use my B over 2 squared to find a new C so that I can factor this into a quantity squared, okay? So B, 18, divided by 2 is 9, to the second is 81, okay? Now, this is what you can't forget. You can't just bring in a plus 81 to this side, you also have to bring it into the other side. But we don't want that there, so we minus 81 under the plus 2, okay? So 1 times 81 is 81, positive, so they have to add to positive 18, so they should probably be both positive. The square root of 81 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81, 9 plus 9 is positive 18. Ditch your A, you don't need that anymore. So x times x is x squared, and then 81 plus 9 plus 9. 2 minus 81 is minus 79. Now you just write that then. X plus 9 quantity squared minus 79. Okay, I got 4 more. Goes pretty quick once you get it. It's not that hard, okay? I don't think. You x squared, kick him out. That's your first step. X squared, good, so I can minus my 4x, okay? So A, B, and I got to come up with a new C. B is negative 4, but don't mess with the negative. Just, you're going to take it to the second power anyway, which results in a positive. Every time you take anything to the second power, the result's a positive. Now, if I plus 4 there, I need to plus 4 here. Minus 4, minus 4. 1 times 4 is 4, positive. We're adding to negative 4. So they probably will both be negative, and the square root of 4 is 2. Times those, see if it's positive 4. Sure is. Now add those, see if it adds up to negative 4. Yup. Ditch your 1, you don't need it, okay? Six minus 4 is 2. Now rewrite that as a quantity squared. X plus minus 2 to the second, because it's the same factor, plus 2. Okay, and if you're that concerned about it, pick a number, plug it into the top, plug it into the bottom, it should be the same thing. No reason, so 3 should get 3 here. I do. Moving on. Okay. Kick -2 out. You always put x squared there. That matches, so plus 16x. And then plus something else. That's a C, that's a B. A is the implied 1. If you don't want to put the 1 there, you don't have to. Just know that it's an implied 1. So I have to figure out my C using B divided by 2 squared. So B is 16 divided by 2 is 8 to the second, which is 64. Once again, as soon as you put the 64 down, you have to go add it to the other side. You can't just bring that in without adding it to the other side. But then I quickly minus 64 from the -2. Okay, 1 times 64 is 64 positive. And we're adding to try to get to positive 16. Well, what's the square root of 64? I mean, I can just square root that number when I use this to bring the C in. It's 8 and 8. Both be positive. That times to positive 64 and it adds to positive 16, so it's good, okay? You don't need the 1 if it's a 1, which it will be. That has to be a 1 there, okay? You can't really do this process without. Plus 8, plus 8. Minus 66 now. And I'd go x plus 8 quantity squared minus 66. Okay, if you want to pick a number 1 through 10, do it. Okay, last 2. B divided by 2 to the second has to be used. First, don't start throwing numbers in here till this is set up with the x squared and the -6. Now compare this to this, they're the same, so I drop the plus 20x. Okay. Now I got to find my own C. That's a B, and then the A would be the implied 1. So what is my C going to be? Well, 20 divided by 2 is 10. To the second is 100. Okay. So if I bring a plus 100 onto this side, I have to bring it to this side, but then I quickly minus the 100 because the y should be by itself, but I minus it from the -6. Okay. Okay, factor that, should be easy to factor. Positive 100, we're adding to positive 20. So the signs have to match, both as positives, because positive 20. Square root of 100 is 10. Okay. Add them, you get positive 20. Mr. 1, we don't need you anymore. So it's going to be minus 106 now. You just take -6 minus 100. That top is a negative. Okay. X plus 10 times x plus 10, which then takes me to x plus 10 quantity squared minus 106. Okay, next problem. So I know I'm going to need b divided by 2 to the second and later the factoring, but then we need to leave there. Kick out the plus 11. Does that match that? Sure it does. Okay, so minus 6x. So a B, and a C. What's the C? Well, I'm going to take 6. Forget the fact that it's negative. Okay, that's stupid to worry about, because even if it was -6, which it is, it's -3 to the second, which is still 9. Okay. If I know I'm going to square something, I don't need the negative. Then I plus 9 there. But then I quickly subtract 9 from the 11. Alright, so 9 positive. We're adding to -6, so the signs have to match as negatives. Square root of 9 is 3. -3 times -3 is 9. -3 plus -3 is -6. Okay. Alright, so you can ditch your a. So xx, and then double minus 3. 11 minus 9 is 2. So it'll be x minus 3 squared plus 2.